Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Yani this might be the most important part of your work or career. The most time you spend doing, and the most rewarding in terms of fees as an architect, as an office to run your office. The preparation of construction documents. And this is something that is very crucial for the construction of good projects. Design alone is not enough. You can design a good project, but the construction is not high quality, so the design does not show well at the end. So as we said, to remind you that the design process goes through these 5 important steps: the preliminary design or schematic design, the design development, the construction documents, and then the bidding and negotiation and construction phase, supervision. And then people start to move into their projects. So the construction documents is the middle and the most important part of your work. So you start with discussions with clients and get their needs and requirements, and you think and produce a preliminary design so that they review and approve. As I said, the approvals should be in writing, not only verbal. And then you start to go to your office and spend a long time transforming this design into construction documents that will be taken by or be sent to the contractor to use for the construction. So this is a very exhaustive part of the project of the profession, and the part that takes most of the time and money. After that, when you prepare the documents, you select the contractor based on the delivery approaches that we talked about last time. Is it going to be a single prime contractor or multiple prime contractors or design build, whatever? So you have to work with the client to select the appropriate contractor. Then the contractor will start the work, and you will be supervising the work. So you make sure that the design is implemented and constructed as you want it. Because contractors, they might do mistakes, they might do changes, they might not follow the specifications and dimensions. So your job is to make sure that everything is being done according to your design and idea. Otherwise, you will get something else at the end. You design a horse and you get a donkey at the end. So you have to make sure that the design is being constructed and implemented according to dimensions, materials, colors, specifications, everything according to what you want. So the tool that we use to achieve this is the construction documents that you prepare as an architect, of course, with your consultants, with your other engineers, structural engineers, mechanical engineers, electrical engineers. They all work with you and to prepare the construction documents. They prepare the drawings and the specifications. The electrical engineer will give you drawings and specs. The mechanical will give you drawings and specs, and so forth. Everyone will give you drawings and specifications. So understanding the purpose of the documents is very important, so that you make sure that the drawings are according to your design, not changing them. And there are many conventions that you need to understand and learn to produce these drawings. As I said, most of the time, we spend about 15% of our time and money in the schematic design. We spend in the design development, which we consider part of the production of the working drawings, and the construction documents, and the bidding and negotiations, about 20, 25, 40, 65% of your time. And energy and money will be spent in this part. So construction documents in general, they describe in full details the design or the architecture that you want to build, and how the contractor will be selected and assigned, and how the contracts for construction will be written and administered, how the contractor will get his money from the owner, how will they be paid, against what. This is all will be clarified through the contract documents, which are part of the construction documents. Many people mistakenly think that construction documents are the working drawings. No, working drawings are only one part of the construction documents. So as an architect, you prepare the documents, the specifications, the schedules, you assist the owner in preparing the contractual information. And for the contractual documents, you need to get a lawyer. They must be reviewed by a lawyer. Don't take this responsibility alone. You have to hire a lawyer to review any contractual documents required. So the construction documents, they communicate to the owner first, because he's the owner of the project, the requirements and the contractual obligations. How will that contractor be paid? How will the owner pay? When? What are the timings for the submissions? What is the procedure? The contractor will send you a list of items that are constructed. You will go and check that this was done according to the specifications and to the claims that the contractor sends, and then you sign it and send it to the owner. The owner will pay the contractor the money. So your signature means approval of what the contractor did. So it's a big responsibility. And this can happen after 6 months from now. So you will be responsible of people's lives and owners' money. So this is something that you have to, we will talk about it more on the ethics lecture. So as I said, it will be the base for financial approvals, transfer of money based on the claims sent by the contractor. The construction documents will tell the owner about the quantities, qualities, and configuration of the work required. And this will also, the contractor use it to solicit bids or quotations from the subcontractors and suppliers. So your documents will not stay in your office. They will be given to the contractor, and the contractor will give them parts of them to the subcontractors. The subcontractors will take them to the suppliers. So they will be all around. So they have to be correct and reviewed carefully. What would the contractor do? The contractor must think in details about the construction means. It's not enough that you have a drawing that it means that the building will be built. No, he has to think about the process. How will I get the machinery? How will I get the workforce? How will I get the material? Where will I place it? How will I protect it? Because materials can be stolen from the site. So all these methods, techniques, sequences, procedures. Site safety is very important for contractors. They have to make sure that the site is safe for the workers. They also include assigning subcontractors, logistics, a lot of logistics in the site that need to be considered, the sequence of work, who is doing what, when, because he needs to bring the concrete work and the woodwork and the glass work, and who's coming when, and how they don't interfere with each other according to specific sequence and scheduling. And then they have to design, they also provide what we call shop drawings. Shop drawings are also important part of the contractor's work. Based on your drawings, they produce another set of drawings called shop drawings. These are the drawings that they specify how many tiles will be placed in this room and what is the distance of this tile. And they draw everything in full detail. And they send it to you to make sure that your 1 to 100 drawings are confirming with their 1 to 20 drawings or 1 to 10 drawings. So this is also another responsibility. So the construction documents are not only design or graphics, they are also legal and organizational documents. So they must be clear, no redundancy, no omissions, no missing information, no ambiguities, no contradictions between drawings and specs, because this is a very common problem, that you draw something and the people who are doing the specs or the quantities, they write something else. So they have to be coordinated. Or your drawings with the structural engineer. In the ground floor, you draw the columns 60 by 60 all the way up the 20 floors. No, they can be 40 by 40 in the upper floors, and they can be 1 by 1 meter in the ground floor. So the columns will increase in size. So how will they affect the design, the corridors, the doors, the windows, and everything? So you have to review all this, the ducts, the risers of the electricity, the ducts for the plumbing, everything has to be coordinated. So everything must be within the scope of the contract. Any exceptions that is not in the contract, sometimes the owner says, don't finish this part, I want to do it myself. So you mark it as NIC or not in contract. This part is not in the contract, we will do it in another way. So you have to learn how to review the shop drawings. Shop drawings are very detailed and tedious work to do. Product data. The contractor will send you samples of materials and you sign the sample. Which marble you want to use, which color, which wallpaper. So you have to verify and approve all this. And make sure that it's complying with the design intent. So you have several roles as an architect. One role is to assist the owner in preparing the bidding, but you are not required to prepare the legal documents. This has to be done by a lawyer. You have to hire a lawyer to do that. You are not professionally qualified to do this. You are required to assemble the bidding documents. So you have the drawings, the contractual documents, the specifications, and so forth, and bills of quantities all together. So you have to work on assembling this with labels, with names and everything. And furnish or provide any necessary legal accounting and advices for the client during the contract. And of course, approvals of the bidding. So the construction documents, they have several parts. They have the bidding requirements. This is an important part in the beginning. The contract frame, the conditions for the contract, all these are legal documents for the contract. And then you have the specifications for the materials and the contract drawings. And these are another story, the drawings that you prepare with your consultants and so forth. And the resource drawings or the shop drawings. So it has written documents. You have to know how to write them and review them, especially the specifications and bills of quantities. You need to prepare and package the document and make sure that they reflect the project. So you have 3 items: legal documents, you have procedural administrative information, you have architectural and construction information. So these are the 3 types of information that are in your construction documents: legal, contractual, procedural, administrative, and architectural and construction information. If you have large projects, you have to, of course, spend more time and energy to prepare. You have the option to separate the contract form from the contract conditions. So you can prepare several packages, not one book or one item. This will allow the contractor to send documents to suppliers or subcontractors without the contractual information, without the money. So they can send it without revealing their bid or the amount of money they're getting for the project. Because, for example, I'm a contractor, I will put 300 pounds per meter square for tiles. I don't want the subcontractor to know this information. I will send them the request and they send me their offer, which is like 200 pounds per meter square. So I will take that. The contractor will, of course, gain the difference between the 300 and the 200. So you have to make sure that the information can be divided and separated between the contractor and subcontractor. For small projects like a villa or an apartment building or something like this, we put all the documents together, and then the contractor can work with it later. As we said last time, delivery approaches, they affect the packaging. If you have, and we talked about the different types of documents, construction documents required for the one single prime contractor, multiple prime contractors, design build, early award, fast track. Each type of delivery approach require different type of packaging. So if you have one project, one prime contractor, you have one package. If you have 3 prime contractors, so we need to divide the drawings, the specifications, the bills of quantities, the contractual information into 3 parts according to the division of work. So you have to make sure before you start preparing construction documents, you have to agree with the client what type of delivery approach we are going to use. Because the preparation of the construction documents is different from one to the other. As we said, we have 6 items that we consider part of the construction documents. The drawings, the working drawings. I think you did some projects, working drawings. The specifications, we have two types of specifications. General specifications, these are following the specifications of the country you are in, and there are special specifications for specific types of buildings or items in your project. And of course, there are the bills of quantities, where you provide all the items in the project one by one, item, quantity, so that the contractor will put the price and get the estimate for this item. And then you add the items, and you give the whole estimate in one number. Then we have contract forms and conditions. These are the contractual information. What are the contract? The contractor must know the contract before bidding. Maybe he would not like the contract setup. It's not suitable for him. So he does not go into this tender. So you have to provide them with the contract forms and conditions before the bidding. And then the bidding requirements. What are the documents that they're going to supply for the bidding? Not only the price, they provide you the price, they provide you with their previous experience, relevant experience to the project. They provide you with how many man-hour they will assign to the project, how many engineers do they have, what equipment do they have. So you have to assign to understand this before selecting the contract. Let's say you finish the working drawings in 6 months or 8 months, the construction documents, and you started the bidding. The bidding will take another month, 1 month. And during this period, the client asked to make some changes. Don't build this part of the building. I want another building. So you send those contractors, all the contractors at the same time, what is required to be changed. This we call addenda, not contract modification. Contract modification comes after the signing of the contract. Before you sign the contract, we call it addenda. And the addenda is an important part of the construction documents because it becomes a legal document immediately. You have to make sure that the addenda also, the client will not be required to pay money for this change, but he is required to provide more time. So the contractor takes more time, a week or two, to study the addenda. Once the owner signs the contract with the contractor, any change required will be called contract modifications. And this is very dangerous because you have to pay for it. The owner must pay for any changes. And usually it is the contractor requests very high price for these contract modifications. So the first part that we do a lot of work with are the drawings. You are the leader of the design team, the structural engineer, the mechanical, the electrical, the plumbing, the sound, the light, everything. So they will all work according to your drawings. So you start as architectural drawings, you send them to the consultants, they sit with you and discuss their needs. You start to change, adjust, and so forth, and keep working meetings and meetings and meetings until you reach the final stage. The construction documents, they show the construction drawings, they show graphics, and more important than the graphics is the information. the information in dimensions and in specifications. So you have to write on the drawings all information needed for the construction. So this includes the extent, the configuration, the location, the relationships, the dimensions, and the dimensions must be as needed. Don't put too much dimension so the drawing cannot be read in the side. Put only the dimension that is needed for the construction. A set of drawings is an organized presentation of the project. This will present your project to the other. You can put photographs. You can put graphics, schedules, specifications for small projects. So sometimes we write the specifications on the drawings directly instead of producing separate books. So as I said, the first thing you have is a cover page for the whole set of drawings. You start with the site work. So you have the layout with the dimensions, architectural, structural comes after the architecture, mechanical, plumbing, electrical, and other disciplines. So they must be arranged and numbered and referenced to each other. So you reference your drawings to the consultant's drawings. So this is an example of some drawings that you might need for, of course, a medium-sized drawing. You might need 100, 150 drawings, large size, so that they can be sent. So they have to be numbered, labeled, referenced to each other, as we will see, and so forth. All these are different types of drawings. Procedural and administrative information are found in several parts. They can be found in the conditions for the contract. As we will see, the specifications, Division 1 is specifically for the procedural and administrative information, and the first part of the specifications is also part of this information. So this is important because it shows how will the shop drawings and samples be delivered to you. They must be delivered with a cover letter. And the cover letter, I will send you a sample of tiles with a cover letter, and I want you to review it within 1 week. If you delay, this will delay the construction. So you have to review and finish your work and send it with a cover letter. So during the construction, these legal procedures are very important because the contractor will take all opportunities to increase the time or increase the cost. How the contractor will be paid, the payment requests, when will they be sent, weekly, bi-weekly, daily, you have to tell them. How change of work is done. You cannot just go to the site and say, no, change this color. It has to be communicated in writing. Which part, what amount, what time will be taken, and so forth. Procedure for uncovering or recommending that work is stopped. You are working for the client, for the owner. You cannot just go to the site and say, stop the work, I am the architect. No, you are not allowed to do this. There is a procedure for stopping the work, because stopping the work has huge consequences on the price and time and everything. So you have to communicate to the owner what is the reason for stopping the work and so forth. responsibilities, especially site safety. Anyone injured or die in the site is the responsibility of the contractor. That's why once the contract is signed, the site is given to the contractor and stays under his authority until the project is delivered. You cannot go to the site without a permission from the contractor. No one can enter the site without permission of the contractor because there are materials, money, people, dangerous places, and so forth. And also it says, how will the project will end? Because this is very important. Are you going to submit total project or partial submission or what? So these are also elements, contractual elements that need to be considered. Required format shop drawings. What is the format of the shop drawing? The submittal. How will they be approved? Numbers of sets of submittals required. Procedure for certification of substantial completion. How will you say that the project is not completed but substantially completed so that I can use it? And forms of payment, waivers of lien for the contractor. Procedures also covering applicable codes, requirements for record documents. These are also important types of drawings. We have working drawings and we have shop drawings. Working drawings are made by the architect. Shop drawings are made by the contractor and reviewed by the architect. After the project is finished, we also produce what you call as-built drawings, because maybe during the construction, they moved this thing here and they moved this thing there, or they closed this door and opened. So some changes might happen. So we produce drawings, what you call as-built. And these are very important for especially large projects to know where the changes happened and how did they affect the project. Temporary facilities, as you see, there is always cabins for engineers, houses for workers. How will these be removed after the construction is finished? And also during the construction, you have to test the materials, especially the concrete. So you must define who is going to do the testing and which laboratory. University laboratory or research laboratory, they take the concrete cubes and test the strength. So we have many definitions of terms, references, allowance, and unit price items. All this is in the procedural and administrative information. So it's a very important document that you should review carefully and make sure that it is covering all the items that are needed. So as we said, the construction documents has the quantities and relationships that are shown in the drawings and qualities and standards of workmanship that are shown in the specification. So, and these two are equal. They need to be compatible and no contradiction between them, the drawings and the specifications. So the level of detail is very important. The problem is that with the computers, you make tick, tick, and you have a dimension. Tick, tick, you have dimension. In the past, it was very difficult. You have to use only minimum dimension and you have to calculate the dimension yourself. Now, you put the dimensions quickly. So students tend to put a lot of dimensions everywhere. This is not correct. So the drawings is very busy with dimensions and signs and so forth. No, you have to be specific with the dimension, because this will be read in the site. This will be printed and used in the site by the subcontractors and the suppliers and so forth. So this has to be specific to what you want. The comprehensive and detailed documents are needed for competitively bid public projects. You have to provide all the information. Any unclear or incomplete items, the contractor will be negotiated with you. The contractor will be very happy if you write that this is a door 1.5 meter, and in the specs it says a door 1 meter. They will be very happy, because this is a discrepancy between the specs and the drawing. So they tell you, oh, this is a change order. Sorry. So you have to pay for the 1.5 extra. So you have to make sure that all the information is as needed. Less detailed drawings and specs are provided for projects. We have a small project with known early award contract. You need to provide completed but minimum details. If you participate in an international project, you will find amount of details and coordination beyond belief. Scale. What scale do I use for the drawings? The standard scale is 1 to 100. Okay. 1 to 200 is almost impossible to provide working drawings. So we want the smallest scale, but to be clear and readable. So 1 to 100 is the most reasonable. And then you can take parts and make details of it, 1 to 50 or 1 to 20 or 1 to 10. Scale of the dimensions, the lettering, all this must be coordinated and visually readable. And use only necessary dimensions. Don't cover the whole drawing with dimensions for no reason. Tick dimension, tick dimension. No, you have to be very selective. The contractor is not allowed to measure from your drawing. They must read the dimension only. So you have to consider yourself in the site, and you want to build this. How will you build it? You have to provide the necessary dimensions on the drawing to be built. The contractor must not take a scale and measure from the drawing. This is not allowed, because drawings can be printed in different scales. In the past, they can shrink from the water and the humidity, or they can be turned or stretched. So you have to provide dimensions that are appropriate for the construction. Where strings of dimension must add up to a specific number, it's often wise to note one of the dimension as a plus or minus value. Now, when you start the construction, you have walls, but you have plastering. The amount of plastering is not fixed. It can be 1 centimeter here, 1.5 here, and 2 here. So the dimension between the walls will not be the same as the dimension after the plastering. So you have to be flexible that maybe I will take the dimension from this side of the wall, the door, the windows, the door, but I will not give the last dimension. Or if I give it, I say it's plus or minus, because there might be some variations. Okay, that's why don't rely too much on the computer. The computer will give you all the dimensions, but this is not correct. In reality, it's not correct. You have to think about what dimensions do I need and how will it be built. We also have what we call standard of construction tolerance. There is some degree of يعني, not fitting dimensions. So we call it field created tolerance, which is about half centimeter, 0.3 centimeter, 0.6 for the difference between the drawings and the actual site. So in order to draw or to make good construction documents or good working drawings, you have to understand the process of construction and how it will affect the dimensioning. What will be built first? The skeleton, and then the walls. And you have to think that the skeleton of different floors is different. The dimension of the column in the upper floor is 30 by 30. In the basement, it will be 1 meter by 1 meter. And it keeps increasing during the different floors. So you have to provide dimensions according to these changes. So after the structural engineer finishes their drawings, you have to apply them to the architectural work again, based on their schedules. They provide you with a schedule of the column dimensions for the different floors. Do not repeat dimensions unnecessarily. Do not close dimension strings. Leave tolerance at the end. That can be changed. Dimension only those things that really matter. And you don't dimension things that are obvious. And I don't keep dimensioning the tiles on the floor or something. This is not useful. All the decisions regarding the dimensions are the architect's decisions. So you have to make sure that the dimensions are coordinated with the sub-consultants. Vertical dimensions appear on elevations or wall sections only. Okay, so you have to make sure that the plans, they show horizontal dimensions. Elevations, they show vertical dimensions. Don't show horizontal dimensions on elevations or sections. This is wrong. Horizontal dimensions, they show a plan only. A dimension should be from the top of the foundation, finished floor, or similar fixed references. You have to also give dimension to the fixed elements, not only the finished floor. The finished floor can be variable, but the concrete, the top level of the concrete is fixed. So you have to provide dimensions. Structural engineers, they reference to the bottom of the slab, not the top of the slab. Architects, they reference to the top of the slab. But the structural engineers, they reference to the bottom of they want to know the distance between the finished, the slab level and the bottom of the upper slab, because this is what they designed the columns for. You can avoid many dimensions by using a line or divide by 2 equal parts or divide by half. And you need to assign someone to check all the dimensions and of all the disciplines: architectural, structural, mechanical, and so forth. We have what we call targeting. Targeting, some people call it referencing, that you need to provide details of parts of the plan or section in another drawing. So you use a detail indicator. You put the area around the dashed circle around the area and reference to the D2. We will know what is D2 over A512. So this detail, you find it in area D2 in drawing A512. So you go to the drawings, A512, and then area D2. So this is the detail. We divide the drawing into several parts that can be, the hexagon is for the notes. You make this and rewrite the notes in the drawing. So you name the drawings according to the type of work. So we have topography, TS, soil boring, SB. So these are all letters used for the type of drawing. Architecture, A. We also divide the drawings. Assume you will have schedules and master keynotes from A000 to A01 all the way to A100. So the numbering of the drawings is very clear. A100 to 100 to 200, these are plans. 200 to 300, elevations and sections. 300, 400. So you have different divisions of drawings. So people know where to find. So if I read on a drawing that it is A310, means it's vertical circulation, drawing number 10. So you end up with a set of drawings, can be that big. And you should know how to quickly, so A21, 2.1, this is the number of the drawing. And the drawing, you see that it has the title, it has notes, different types of notes and legend, the north direction, if it's a plan, and the dimensions for the center lines and the interior. So it has to be within a set of drawings. The structural, they take the S letter, mechanical M, plumbing P, fire protection, they have the drawings, electrical, special items like interior design, they take the title ID, food services, signage, F and F, furniture and furnishings, asbestos. So this is how we divide the drawing. You have the title block, you have the notes, and you divide the drawing into several parts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and A, B, C, D. So if you reference from the detail, from the plan to D2, then I will find the D2 here. And the drawing number is here. So I can cross-reference the drawings quickly according to the B4. So this is a B4 area for the detail. So drawings must be organized, and this is your role as an architect, a lead architect. You must take responsibility of providing all the coordination. Some offices, they have these drawings already printed in the past. Now they have computer files that you all should follow. So don't just draw on any paper. Now you have to know how will it be printed and how will you divide the drawing so that it can be referenced to each other. The title block is very important. It can be vertical or horizontal, and it should contain the name, the title of the project, the owner, and a place for the stamps. The number of the drawing must be here. Why? Because these drawings, they end up being folded. Cannot send the drawings as a roll to the side. They must be folded in a certain way. They fold it like this. Let me take one page from here. So this is your drawing. You fold it twice like this, and then you fold it back like this, and you fold it back like this. When you work on the internship, you must have done this. And then you fold it like this. Okay? So you end up with the drawing like this, with the title block here. The title block is here. When you fold it like this, it will, so you will read the name of the drawing here. So you can quickly go through the drawings and get the drawing that you want to use. I mean, imagine that this is 100 by 70 centimeters or one, and you open it. I mean, you can, in the site, they usually fold it like this so that they can see the part that they are working in. So it has to be flexible. But this is how you fold the drawing. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you end up with the title block here. So you always can see this part. What is the name of the drawing? What is the title of the drawing? Who drew it and who reviewed it? This is very important because you want to go back to them. So it can also contain a key plan or a key section. If you have plans, it's good to put a key section so that you show which plan. North arrow, key section. So this is the responsibility of the architect to organize the drawings, standardize the drawings for the office, either physical. In the past, we used to go and take a calc, print it, ready with the block and everything. Now it's computerized. So you have title block computerized, so you can print with the title block, and the second part of the drawing is specialized for the notes. Structural and mechanical, electrical, they write a lot of notes. So they take a large part of the drawing to write their notes. They must write the notes on the drawing related to the reinforcement, related to the wiring, related to the piping. So it has to be done. Another part, of course, which takes a lot of time, are the windows and doors. Windows and doors must be specified one by one. Provide the dimensions, the quantity, the specifications, and the design. So you must have doors and windows. Every door and window type in the project must be specified alone. And this is scale 1 to 20, for example. This will be drawn 1 to 10 or 1 to 5 in the shop drawings. So your drawings are just the base for the following drawings. And then the finishing schedules. This is a type of a finishing schedule. You write the name of the space, and you have the floors, walls, ceilings, and base. So you have all the types of finishings, and then you select the type. This makes it easier to change later for any changes that the owner or the contractor needs. The last thing we need to talk about today is the cartoon set. This is a very good tool for the architect who is managing the work. Is before you start the project, you have to have a set of A4 size papers of all the drawings sketched. This drawing will have the layout. This drawing will have the plan. This drawing, and then you write, when did it start? Who is working on it? What is the condition? Is it finished or not? When is it expected? So when you are sitting in your office, you can monitor or manage the team that works under your supervision. Who is doing what and when and so forth. Okay, we will stop here today and complete this presentation next time, inshallah.